Expansion and climate responsibilities, and it's in the name of Assembly Member Polanski.
Can I thank the member for his question? As the first mayor of a global city to declare a climate emergency with targets to be net zero by 2030, I take climate change extremely seriously. London is graded A for climate action by the Carbon Disclosure Project, the independent organisation that runs the global disclosure system for companies and cities. I agree with the recommendations of the Climate Change Committee on Airport Expansion, which states that any airport expansion shall only proceed within a policy framework that ensures compatibility with net zero carbon targets. London's airports play a vital role in supporting our economy and linking London with the world. But every sector of the economy must cut its emissions if we're going to avert a climate catastrophe. Aviation is a major polluter, and all decisions about expansion must be taken with the climate emergency in mind. As other sectors decarbonise, aviation will constitute an ever larger share of total UK emissions, even without expansion. Future growth in the sector cannot be justified on the grounds that decarbonisation in other sectors will provide benefits that can be absorbed by aviation. Every industry must be looking to improve. I've always been clear that I believe airports in London must be held accountable for addressing their environmental impacts and must prove they have mitigations in place before any expansion takes place. This can include enhanced plans for decarbonised travel to and from airports, but it must also include concrete plans to mitigate the climate impacts of aviation itself. Only 2 of the 6 airports serving London lie within the the Greater London boundary, and if we're to address the aviation carbon challenge and not merely move the carbon emissions around, then a national approach will be required. The new government has made clear that any expansion proposal will need to demonstrate that they're consistent with our binding climate change targets as well as noise and air pollution objectives. These are crucial factors in any decisions about expansion, alongside the consideration of any economic growth they might bring. I'll continue to scrutinise any future airport planning proposals and will seek to ensure they're compatible with the urgent need to reduce our emissions to tackle climate change.
Thank you very much. We've spoken about aviation a lot over the years, and it's good to see your journey on this, because it sounds increasingly you're becoming more and more clear that aviation expansion is not compatible with the net zero target as outlined in the Committee on Climate Change, but also in your own accelerated green pathway. Drilling down into the detail, maybe that's a bad metaphor, but looking at the Airport National Policy Statement, the ANPS, in 2022, this is the same statement that essentially enables Heathrow expansion. You said that this needed to be suspended immediately at a bare minimum. You said that to the previous government. What are you saying to the new government?
I'm against Heathrow expansion. I think Heathrow should be better, not bigger.
Good. And so with the ANPS, because that is the mechanism in order to stop Heathrow expansion, are you calling on this new government to also suspend that ANPS at a bare minimum?
I've made clear my views on Heathrow expansion. We've not discussed the issue of the policy he refers to.
Thanks. So that's good to hear on Heathrow expansion. Let's discuss the ANPS. You said to the last government that it should be suspended with immediate effect. What are you saying to the new government?
That, well, as I said in my answer, any aviation expansion has got to be compatible with our climate change commitments. And I welcome, in fact, statements from both the Chancellor and the Prime Minister in relation to this issue. The Chancellor said we would need to look at all evidence, including around the environment. And the Prime Minister said any conditions under which future expansion would happen would only happen if they were consistent with our binding climate change obligations, and also around noise pollution and also around air pollution.
So those are words, and I admit they're good words, they're not action. So for a third time, you said to the previous government to suspend the ANPS with immediate effect as a minimum. What are you saying to the new government specifically on ANPS with immediate effect?
I can repeat what I said 3 minutes ago, which is I've had no conversations with the government about the ANPS. The government knows my views.
Thank you. Will you commit to talking to the new government? You said that you're going to write a letter to Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor. You said that earlier today. Would you remind her about your comments about the ANPS?
I'm sure the government's well aware of my comments around the aviation expansion. The member's, of course, open to send the Chancellor and the Prime Minister what I've said in answer to his question 3 minutes ago.
Thank you. So would you co-write a letter with me to the Chancellor repeating your statement about the ANPS, because it's really important that if we want to stop Heathrow expansion, as I hear that you do, and that's great, the way to stop it is by making sure the ANPS is suspended with immediate effect. If you're not willing to do that, it sounds like you are saying that you want Heathrow expansion to be stopped, but you're not willing to take the action that would make that happen.
Look, the Deputy Leader of the Green Party can write to the Prime Minister and the Chancellor. He's welcome to do so. He won't be surprised to hear I won't be co-signing a letter with the Deputy Leader of the Green Party.
Thank you. So I think people have heard that the Green Party are showing climate leadership on this and the Mayor's just talking.
Unless it goes to the backyard. We saw the Green MP, who's for renewables, when it goes through his backyard, he's suddenly against renewables. Have you taken action against him? Have you disciplined him?
I mean, that's completely not true, but if we want to talk about other parties, should we talk about your gifts from United Airlines from the conversation about gifts?
Taken action against him?
Is this climate leadership? Thank you very much. No further questions.
Hypocrisy.